We put this motion forward with 20 weeks to go until Brexit. We're now at 8. And while the predictions in this motion of Brexit's implications have become more robust, the government's plans and the likely outcome have, if anything, become even less clear. Since the last meeting, the UK has had another quarter of investment decline, the third in a row. More and more reports have come forward highlighting that Hampshire's priority economic sectors, marine, aerospace, financial and business services, ICT and digital, distribution and logistics, agriculture, will be amongst the hardest hit by a hard Brexit. It's also clear that Brexit, in whatever form, as a consequence of these effects, will hurt government finances. The leader asked earlier where extra support for local government and the challenges we face might come from, and the answer is simple. Stop Brexit and we can get back to addressing the fundamental issues facing local government and all the many other issues that this country faces. Carry on with Brexit and all the devastating effects on the Council and on our country will go ahead. The lack of clarity and certainty for EU citizens and British citizens married to EU citizens, and I have to declare a personal interest, has, in the last 12 weeks, got worse. I don't have the figures for all of Hampshire, but in the Winchester district, to give you a scale of what we're talking about, there are 2,000 households with adult non-British EU citizens. About half of those are EU and British citizens living together. And over 4,500 British and non-British EU citizens of Hampshire are affected. On a personal note, it is shocking how brutally dismissive of marriage the government's and the Conservative Party's proposals are in Brexit. You might not know this, but the fact that my wife Michaela and I have been married for 22 years gives us, under the government's and the Conservative Party's proposal, no automatic right to live together. And there are tens of thousands of other residents across Hampshire facing similar uncertainty. At the same time, the government's plans are even less clear. The Prime Minister now opposes her own plan and has no worked-through plan and has put forward no worked-through plan to resolve the problem of the Irish border. We have Brexit fundamentalists telling us that one of the biggest reasons for the EU leaving the EU is to get deals with other countries, while also telling us that the lack of a deal with our biggest trading partner is not a problem. The question is what we, as a county council, want to do about it. Our view is that we should have a view, that we're not getting what was promised to leavers and remainers alike. We're not getting a plan that works for our county or our country, and we need to find a way to resolve it, because it's not at all clear that without outside pressure that Parliament will resolve the issue. Hence our call for a referendum on the final deal. This isn't a call to stop Brexit, although that is the preferred option of our party. Because if the will of the people, the much-cited will of the people, is still to go ahead with Brexit, a referendum will allow that. The only reason to oppose it is if people are frightened that the will of the people has changed, or if you're frightened that the government's plans fail to live up to the promises made, and you want to stop that will being expressed. So opposition to our proposal is fear. But let's also be clear that silence is complicity. Complicity in what has already wrecked our country's international reputation, put unacceptable stress and pressure on tens of thousands of local residents, what has already destabilised our businesses and our councils. So it's time to be really clear on what's best for our country and our county, to be prepared to take a lead, to be clear that things cannot continue as they are. That's why the right thing for the county and for the residents and businesses of this county is to back our motion, back a referendum on the final deal, and offer a way out of the government's Brexit fiasco.